Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I've got my coffee. I've got my water. We've got chats going like crazy already, including, I kind of love this. Balancer wants to remind everyone to be sure and like this video. And I appreciate that because I never think to ask you to like, subscribe, share with your friends. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. What was the first book? Great question. Great question. What is the first book you recommend from your book list? Fuck Like a Porn Star is my best-selling book, and it's my best-selling book for a reason. It is great no matter what level you are, whether you have like zero, knowledge or experience with women, or have a lot and just want to improve and take everything up one more notch. That being said, Eric, that being said, I think that my Instant Self-Confidence with Women book is a really important guide to have, because if you are dealing with any kind of confidence slump, if you have trouble approaching women, if you have trouble talking to women, or if you've kind of gotten your feet knocked out from under you and you just kind of need a little bit of a boost, what's great about my Instant Self-Confidence with Women handbook, and all of these can be found on my website, myplayboysbunny.com, under products. The great thing about Instant Self-Confidence with Women is that it is 25 actionable steps. You can take a ton of them at one time. You can kind of like put everything in motion, or you can do like one at a time and slowly build your skills. So what's great about Instant Self-Confidence with Women is that it's truly actionable right then. The thing about Fuck Like a Porn Star is if you throw too much new stuff at a new girl or at a girl that you're established with too quickly, she's gonna be like, where are you getting this from? So you have to be a little bit more cautious. Fuck Like a Porn Star is without question my best-selling book and my best-selling course. So Fuck Like a Porn Star course is awesome also. Kicks ass and takes names. I've got lots of people who have taken that. It is a mind-blowingly awesome 21-day total immersion experience. So, great question. Thank you so much for asking. Let's jump into the interwebs. We are going to have some fun today. Let's see what all is going on. Okay. This makes a lot of sense. So I'm gonna blow it up here. Ryan Stone, who I have had on my show, the Bunny Interviews. Please check that out. He was my very first interview. It was really great. And even though he doesn't particularly like being interviewed, he was such a good sport in putting up with my energy and my excitement and my questions. So if you haven't checked out my interview on the Bunny Interviews with Ryan Stone, I suggest you do that. It was really phenomenal. That sweet religious woman you're dating has had more sex than you ever will. She will lie about it to herself and to you, and you won't be able to tell. She has done things for guys she just met she probably won't do with you. She does this because it makes her feel like a slut. This is 1,000% correct. Correct. I've picked up women at church. I mean, it's the real deal. This has happened. But the girls who, you see as a good girl, she's a good girl. She's so innocent. I don't know why she's not married. This kind of thing, this inner dialogue that runs through your head. She's had a hoe phase. She's had a breakup where she slept with 3 guys in the next 3 days. She's had 4 months where she went out and partied and drank and, didn't really know what she was doing, but did all kinds of stuff and kept waking up in weird men's beds. She's fucked men on a dirty mattress on the floor with a bunch of his bros in the next room or in the same room. This is normal. She will not admit to it, but I want to say I'm glad that he pointed out. You rarely see men in this space point out that she's lying to you, but she's also lying about it to herself. She has blocked this memory out of her head so hard that she actually believes when she tells you the things that she tells you. She believes it. Very rarely do those memories pop back up when it's something she's truly ashamed of or embarrassed by, or she knows if it ever came out, she would be, ostracized, at least in her own head, about it. So girls, Ryan nailed this. I mean, this is primo. Girls will lie to you and they will lie to themselves about their past, about their blips on the radar of being a complete slut for like a week or a month or a year or 5 years, about the men that they banged to get over one man and get under another. We all have phases where we're more wild than others. Now, the addendum to this, or the extension to this, is that I'm just gonna say this. It's actually an important thing to go through. Guys, when you're young and virile and horny as hell, college exists for a reason, first of all. You need to have a time in your life, gentlemen, where you are fucking everything that moves, where you are going on as many dates as possible, where you make the girls who know you think, I think he's a player. Every man needs a season of his life, if he can get it. Now, guys, there are religious exceptions to this. There are moral exceptions. Some of you do not fit into this category, but you are likely not watching this show, so we are good. Every man needs a season of abundance where he is running a rotation of women of some kind, of some number, whether he's just talking to a bunch of girls at the same time, or if he is genuinely, purposefully running girls through his bedroom. But you need a season of abundance so that you can compare women in real time. You can compare women while you're going through certain aspects of life. You can see how that impacts your sex life, their interest in you. Whenever you're running multiple women, you will find that those women are fighting for your attention. They are going out of their way to make sure that you see them. So every man needs a season of abundance. Women need to go back to this. Women need to have a season where they feel a little bit wild and crazy. And oftentimes that's wild and crazy sexually. And I'm going to explain this before I get completely destroyed in the comments. You would rather her, theoretically, have a season of kind of feeling things out a little bit, dating a little bit extra, going out and partying a little bit more. Women are best when they get that out of their systems at a young age, whether it's sophomore year of college, whether it's right after they graduate, before they kind of start getting into a serious dating relationship. Girls need to have, not long, it doesn't need to last for years. In fact, it's bad for our health and our brain if a woman's season, a girl's season of partying and being wild lasts too long. But a couple of months, 6 months, a semester, perfect. That's the perfect amount. And I'm not saying she's riding a new cock every single night. I'm not saying any of that. But the better thing for her to do is to have a wild season when she's young and can kind of bounce back from it and correct course. Then when she's a little bit older, when she's wondering what she missed, when she's blowing up her family, she's destroying your life with her and what you've built together because she's bored. Whenever she gets that out of her season, oftentimes out of her system, oftentimes later in life, she doesn't have that need to party. She already did it. It happens in the movies every once in a while when they're like, oh, I love that time though. It was so much fun. I just want to do that. And they blow up their lives. Most women, if they get that out of their systems pretty young, and I'm talking like college age, a good semester of actually going to the frat parties and participating in all the stuff, hooking up with a couple of guys that didn't work out. This is healthy. This is healthy female behavior that oftentimes keeps her from wanting to experience that later in life once she's got more on her plate and will likely blow your shit up, your kids' shit up, destroy her family, just lose her house, all of it. You don't want her wanting that season later in life. You want her to have already gotten that out of her system before she even met you. Good morning, Stan. Good morning. I'm glad you're here. Woo. Yeah. I love it. Even in the oldest civilizations, priestesses who've been deemed the good girl are probably so horned up, buck wild, that it would shatter their king's perceptions of them. Exactly. It all matters. It all matters. Well, we've made it for one tweet. One post. Oh, crypto. And we are killing it this morning. Women are directly adapted to act as the nurses and educators of our early childhood. For this simple reason that they themselves are childish, foolish, and short-sighted. In a word, are big children all their lives. Something intermediate between the child and the man who is a man in the strict sense of the word. Absolutely. This is really good. So always remember that your girl is the biggest teenager in the room. When she throws a fit, she's childish. It's adorable. You don't give it any energy. Women are meant to be the teachers of your children. They're meant to be those who, I think this is put really well, because if men were doing it, oftentimes, if the father was in charge of raising the children on a day-to-day, on the morning till night basis, oftentimes they would come off a little harsh. They would come too hard. They would have too high expectations for the children. They would, whenever you've seen that played out in real life, those kids are much more serious. They are much less socialized, and it's not always the healthiest way to be. So women are there. This is great. It's like they're the interim between the child and the adult. So mothers are the best at making sure their children are learning, that they're healthy, they're socialized, and that they're ready. They're preparatory for them entering into school. The mothers who do it right. And this is a great reason why mothers need to be a stay-at-home mom. This is very much a personal take. However, it's also a personal take that in my research and experience, it really does make the difference between happy, healthy relationships and marriages and families. So if she is available, at least through those beginning years, if she can stay home at least until the children start proper school, then those kids are so much more better prepared for school, for life, for socialization, and are used to being in some sort of safe environment so that they are prepared for the safe environment to come. This is really good stuff this morning, guys. Let's see. Girls hate making decisions. Don't ask her to. So if you are, I think a lot of times guys will be like, hey, let me know what day this week that you'd be available to meet up. Instead of saying, let's meet on Thursday. Does 6 or 6:30 work better for you? You need to give her as few options as possible, because girls are indecisive in our very nature. We don't like making decisions. We have to make a lot of decisions in our professional life if we have one. Girls have to make decisions all the time, every day, and it goes against our nature. So it's a lose-lose scenario. Whenever she is out with you or in relationship with you, whether you are just meeting up, whether you're in a full dating relationship, or whether you are married, the fewer decisions a girl has to make to be with you and to in your world, the better everyone is. She gets flustered by them. She's often doesn't trust her own decision that she's made, or she doesn't then lean into that decision and just kind of own it and go with it. It'll inevitably be wishy-washy. She second guesses herself, even if it's something as stupid and unmeaningful as, where are we going to dinner tonight? You say, let's go to dinner at our favorite steakhouse, whatever that's called. Does I'm going to make reservations. Does 6 or 8 work better for you? And then it's done. You've already decided where you're going to eat. You've already decided that you're going to go on and make a reservation. If she doesn't respond, you make the reservation for the time that you think will work best for yourself and her and your family, and you make the plan. She doesn't need to be making any decisions. Case in point, if she goes to the grocery store, she has a list that she made. She has in her head, for each of those list items, what she's going to purchase. If something is out of stock, if the brand that she wants is out of stock, more often than not, a girl will get super flustered about something as minor as a grocery shopping list. A grocery shopping list that she made, and that she's the only one who is going to know the difference as to whether that was what was on the list or if that was one click off. She struggles with little decisions about whether to get gala apples or pink lady apples. And yet you want to put big decisions on her shoulders, like, where should we invest this money? Or is this business opportunity smart? Or is this the best house for our family? You want to put those kinds of decisions on her. It's not a good idea. Don't do it. Girls hate to make decisions. And I will add that if you force her to make a ton of decisions, she will not be pleased about it. I was going to say she'll hate you for it, but that's not really what I'm going for. She will, I can't think of the word. It's an R word. Anyway, let's see. I got new tires 5 years ago. I love it. That's very cool, Tim. Good morning. Oh, that looks delicious. Coffee TikTok is a personality type. I'm okay with that. Lifting rocks. There we go. Making every day a workout. There we are. All right. Rivellino pop quiz. Chris is standing up straight and his girl is leaning into him, but he's still doing one thing wrong. Can you see it? Well, his hand's in his pocket, which if you check out Fort Worth's resentment, thank you. Yes, Stan, she will resent you if you force her to make decisions. Thank you for thinking of my R word. So this Chris guy, whoever he is, I'm sure you guys know. If you check out Fort Worth Playboy's basic training, you will know that a man holding his hands in his pockets, number one, is incredibly unsexy and weak. But number two, it's weak because he absolutely is not prepared to take on any trouble that comes his way. A man who walks down the street with his hand in his pocket, who stands around with his hands in his pocket, is not a man who's ready to be a protector, to protect himself or his loved ones. And when she's with you, she is in your charge. So you are responsible for her, even if, I mean, this girl clearly knows him, but even if you're out on a first date, this is why on first dates, not only do you need to kind of watch and monitor and control your alcohol intake, but also hers. So a man who's standing around with his hand in his pocket is a man who is in a weakened state and not prepared to take anyone on. I'm going to blow these pictures up so you can see them a little bit better. Now, I mean, she's leaning into him. She's wrapped around her. I want to point out, this is not the most flattering pose a woman can make. And yet a girl who is with someone who really matters does not care. That's one of these great indicators of a good relationship, is when, or how a woman feels about a man, is the fact that she is not as concerned what she looks like in the picture. She wants to lean into him. She wants to be wrapped around him. She wants to claim him as hers for the public eye, for the picture. And she wants to just be happy and smiling and not as concerned about what she looks like in that moment. Now, she still looks adorable, make no mistake, but this is not a woman who is as concerned about what she looks like. You know, contrast this with the girls who will be like all up and back and and all these like very strict poses to make sure that she looks great, and she just happens to be standing next to the guy. This woman's crazy about him. I love that. But he needs to get his fucking hands out of his fucking pockets. Good quiz, Riv. That's pretty funny. My brain refuses to believe there are 4 people in this photo. This one is always so crazy. That's pretty funny. Now, before you guys go anywhere, I want to invite everyone to tonight's episode, our first launch of Spicy Tea with Bunny and SB. And I'm going to tell you what's going to be so great about it. This is awesome because Sarah Beth and I love to talk about sex. We're comfortable talking about sex, and it's not just like the safe cosmopolitan version. It's actually the real stuff that really works, that really turns women on, that really attracts the women you want, that really has steps to take it to the next level. We're going to help through all of it. We're going to do this the first hump day of every month. So tonight, if you will go to the link, you will see how many hours away we are. It's 10:30. It's 10:30 Central Standard Time. And I have to use an app every single time I need to do a time change. So gauge by where you are live in 15 hours from now. So I hope that you guys will tune in, ask questions. If you want to ask questions, you're going to have to do it through the YouTube because we cannot see the questions that you asked. Yeah, so 8:30. Yes. It is going to be such a great show. We are going to format it so that we cover so many sexual bases with each episode. And this is kind of one of those shows that could be like 45 minutes or it could be 4 hours because both of us could talk about sex with great enthusiasm for as many hours as we can keep moving our mouths. It's going to be all kinds of great information, and I hope that you guys can tune in with us. It's going to be so good, and we've been working on this for several months actually. So it's going to be fantastic. If you have any interest in improving your sex life, then this is going to be a great show for you to tune into. Just trying to see what else is happening here in the chat. Thank you so much for joining me today, whether you tuned in live on Twitter X or if you did the old school variety and came on YouTube. We appreciate it. I am so thankful that you trust my judgment, you trust my content, and you trust my hot take on all things attraction, relationship, dating, all of the ways that we can play and the questions that you can ask, all answered here. So I appreciate you tuning in. I hope to see you in 23 and a half hours right here on Wake Up with Bunny at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. And please tune in 15 hours for Spicy Tea with Bunny and SB, where we are going to spill the tea on demystifying sexual experiences and women. Thank you for joining me. Go. I almost forgot. Go lift some heavy shit, have some hot sex, and accomplish something. I want you to win. Oh, I love it.